Alrighty folks, we have a good one today. This is very cool. This process is going to generate little miniature style process videos. So the process will be something, I don't know, it'll be mowing the lawn or whatever, right? And then it'll sort of break that up into little sub processors, and that's what the whole video is about. So let's just check out one of these videos that I've generated. I've generated a bunch of them. And this is kind of the sort of thing you're going to get. This is going to automatically pick a sound effect. We have a sound effect library. There's a music library that I've got in there as well. The AI will pick sort of suitable music for it, and it does the whole thing. And this is what you get. Very cool indeed. Spinning cotton candy clouds into twig cones. That's a weird process. You could you can tweak how these are generated, which we'll get into. And yeah, very cool. So as always, all these resources will be available to download. It's all free. The resources that lead to actually run this workflow will cost a little bit of money, which we'll get into. It's not terribly expensive. We are saving quite a bit of money by using tools like the NCA toolkit, which does all the video editing. We're using N8N for the actual automation platform. This is pretty straightforward to get set up. I'll include there's an installation document I put together for all the stuff you see in this video as far as the software used. It's pretty straightforward. It uses Docker. So this is N8N. Then we're using baserow. This is what's kind of storing all the scenes and the videos. The music library's in here. So this has got descriptions, and then it's got audio files. And these are all kind of random. They're all sort of themed for this particular style of videos that's going on in this automation, but you can have whatever you want in here. Same with the SoundFX library. This was all generated via 11 Labs. I did experiment with generating these on the fly as part of the workflow, and some stuff was just coming back weird, which is kind of sucks. So I was like, okay, well, it's just easy just to build a little library of tracks that you know work well, and then have the AI pick the most suitable sound effects for that particular scene. And you'll know that it'll always pick something that's going to closely match it. So there you go. This is rolling cart wheels, metallic tray clinks, light chatter. There was no light chatter in there. There's video styles here. So I'm using free pick, which we'll get into later on in the flow. And in there we can send it an image, and it will just take the general characteristics and style of that image and use that as kind of, yeah, like a style reference when it's generating images. Very cool. And you can add different styles to this. As part of the workflow, we just give it the ID and say, okay, use this ID. So it'll pull this image, and then it will use that. Again, we'll get into that in the workflow. Now, when you import this, it's going to look like this. So everything's just going to be attached, and you'll need to link everything up. I'm going to go through all the nodes here. I'm also going to run this flow so you can see it in action. But because I'm going to do this one by one, and this is one of the reasons why I've built this like this, I'm just going to disconnect all of this. And this is how I like to build my systems, because it keeps things very modular, and it allows you just to test individual sections if something's not working right, or you want to tweak one of the AIs. You can absolutely do that and just keep running that section. So when it comes to importing all of this, the baserow aspect is actually a lot easier now. I didn't know how to do this before, but I'm glad I kind of figured it out. Now, there'll be a link to download all of this. This is all going to be free, of course. You'll get the full music library. So in there, you've got all the tracks here. These are all numbered. And if you go to the text document, you'll see it will sort of correlate with that number. And all you'll need to do is just manually copy the description and upload the file in there. It will take a couple of minutes. It's pretty straightforward. You can also come over to this website here, Refusion, and generate your own. This is completely free, so sign up and use and abuse it. It is very, very cool. Back to the import side of things, we've got this baserow DB import. So you want to import this file, and the way you do that, so this is going to save you from having to set up all the tables and such. You will come over to your workspace, create a new one, select your existing one, whatever you want. I'm going to select this test2. There's nothing in this. I'm going to come over to the top here, click import data. I'm going to select this DB file here, click upload. And just like that, we have the whole database. Now, you obviously don't have no data in there. That's fine. But that saved you a number of hours setting all this up. Now, to get started, you're not going to have any processors made up, right? So I've got this little generator here. And the reason for this is, if you just have AI create a process off the bat, and just have that keep doing that, it's going to probably generate the same things over and over again. So you're not really going to get anything new out of that. What this will do is, in the base row here, I actually have a table for process ideas. And this is very simple. It's just got the process, and then it's got a status field, which is either available or used. This is ultimately what allows us to generate a ton of new processes and never repeat the same ones. And that's what this little process generator is here. So if I just hook this up, what this is first going to do is, this is a standard base row node. You'll need to obviously put your credentials in there when you first set up base row, and there'll be links to how you do all this in a description. I'm not really going to cover it in this video. It's fairly straightforward using Docker, because this video is going to take a bit of time to just get through. But ultimately, you will create new credentials with your base row. When you first set it up, it'll ask you to create an account, and that account is the same details you put in here with the address that you're connecting to. Pretty straightforward stuff. So this operation is get many. It's the database name. So throughout this video, the database name is always going to be miniatures virals DB. So yours will be whatever you've named yours. That will never change. The only thing will change is the tables. So these all change throughout the process, and we'll be selecting different ones. But in this case, we just want to get all the process ideas. We're going to return all of them. If I just run this, so this has returned 109 process ideas. It's going to put these all into one, so we can just send that all into the LLM in one go. This is using GPT 4.1 mini. That's what I'm using with all the AI in this, but this is Open Router. So create some Open Router details. That's fairly straightforward to do. Just go and create an API key and put it in here. And you can use their free models and experiment with that. So what this is going to do is, it's going to be given the existing processors. Now be careful with this, because if you've got like 1,000 processors, that's going to be a lot of input tokens in. So just be conscious of that. And then the AI is basically saying, pick a process. Don't repeat ones that you've already been given. Create something new. You can read all of this. And that's kind of guiding it along that to do that. And then this is what it's pumped out. What it's then going to go and do is it's going to split them out into 10 process ideas. And now that's come out as 10 items. We can use a base row node to create a new record in the process ideas. And it's just going to take the idea, put that in the process ideas here, and then it's going to mark the process as available. Now this will create 10. You could come in here and say, okay, somewhere in here there is the option to pick more. There you go, generate 10 ideas. You could put 20 in there. At some point you get to a big number and it just starts going wrong. So just doing 10 ideas is a good number. And that's how you can generate more process ideas. That says 109. If I run this again, Now we're getting 119 back. Right, we just keep rerunning this and filling up this process ideas. You can see I've already ran it a bunch of times here. These are all available. Super straightforward. Same thing here with the music prompts. So this is just going to generate prompts for the music library. So if we come over to baserow, come over to music library, this will generate the prompts. Now it won't generate an audio file, but it will just add the prompts. From there you could just copy these prompts, come over to Refusion, paste that in, click generate. Once that's complete, check it out. If you like it, download it, and then come and upload it into baserow here. So that's a bit of a manual step, but you're sort of building a library. It doesn't take too long, and the AI is ultimately going to pick from this library. So unfortunately Refusion doesn't have an API, and even if it did, I still probably wouldn't use it, because I've just found better results kind of spending that little bit of time to build up a library is just better. It is just better. We can just run this just so you can see it in action. It's going to generate the music prompts. This is what it's outputted. This is a 10 prompts, I think. It's going to split them out into 10. So it's going to update the baserow library, music library. It's going to update the description. It's going to add a description. So it's not updating, it's creating new records at this point. And then it's just going to add a description. And if we come into the music library, we can see these have now been added. Of course, no audio file. Now, if you're going to have these in, you will definitely want an audio file with it, because if the AI picks one of these and you haven't got an audio file, then you're not going to get background music on your video. So I am actually going to delete them, because I already have 20 different tracks here. So I spent a little bit of time on that, especially on this process here, because at the beginning, we come back to the beginning here, this is what ultimately allows us to run this and never pick the same process again. So it will always be a new process. I've not really seen this being done. I think it's pretty straightforward. It's a little bit of extra setup, but it means your AI is not going to spit out the same thing over and over again, which it's pretty prone to doing. So on the first section, what I would say with this is you can run this all in one go, like what I'm doing here. When you import this node, this is all going to be connected. I'm just doing it one by one here so I can show you all the nodes, what's going on inside them. And because when you import this, you will need to link up the baserow details, right? These field names will more than likely be numbers. This table will just be a number. You won't really know what that means. So I'm going to show each node, and you can see, oh, okay, so table ID on this get process node at the beginning here is going to be process ideas. So you just select that. You'll select your database, right? And then you'll select process ideas. You'll see the list pop up there. Same with these things here. This is just a filter, and it's going to grab all the processors that are marked as available. And it's not going to get anything that's marked as used. A bit further on down the line, we kind of mark that as used, and it's been used. That way it won't get used again. So if I just run this, this is brought in 114 process ideas. It's compressed them all into sort of one list with the ID. This is the baserow row ID. We've got a process picker. So in the prompt here, in the user prompt, I'm just sending it the existing ideas to what it should pick from. And then there's a prompt here to sort of tell it to pick from that. And there's some other stuff there. You can read through this. It's just guiding it to say it's creating fairy tale, like kind of visually cool little miniature process thingy things. I don't know, you can read this, and then this is what it outputs. So it's outputted a process ID. This is the process it's picked. It's got the name of it there, and then now it's just gave us steps, which are ultimately, you can look at these as scenes. So we've got scene number 1, scene number 2, and then it's just gave it kind of a raw description in that sense. From there we create the scene, so that gets pushed into another LLM. So we send in the process, and then we send in all the steps, all the scenes, and this will create a text to image prompt. This will also create an animation prompt. When we send this off to File AI we're going to be using for the videos, we'll also send an animation prompt along with the image. This also is a sound effect prompt that you're given as well. So again, you can sort of copy this, put it into 11 Labs, and keep building up sound effects from there. And in this instance, this has created 7 scenes, so pretty cool there. From there, it goes and marks the process as used. So we're not going to use this one again now. And you can see the details here. We're just taking the ID from the process picker, because that picked the process. It also gathers the ID of that process. Because we're doing an update here, we need to actually give it an idea of what it needs to update, so it knows what it needs to update. And then we're just updating the status to used. And that's a nice, easy way of not reusing the same thing. From there, we create the main video record. So if I come over to videos here and scroll down, you can see a video record's been created. It's got the process. It's actually created all the scenes for us. Now, these are very bare bones at the moment. It's just got the description, the image prompt, the animation prompt, and the sound effects prompt, which we don't actually use the sound effects prompt to like generate sound effects on the fly, which I'll explain a little bit further. It's been marked as processing, and yeah, that's it. It's got a video ID. So coming back to this, you can see all the field names here: process, background music prompt. So this is taking this from the previous create scene agent, which is this here, and this is just all these values that are just being dragged in here. And then it's marked the process as being processing. Sounds a bit confusing because we're sort of creating a process and then we're marking this thing as processing. That is just purely for when we're sort of pulling this video out and getting details, whether we want to grab its title or the scenes from the video. So we're not grabbing every single video that's been made. This is what this status processing means. So we can do an easy filter to say only grab these videos or this video that's marked as being processed. From there, this is setting the scenes. So this is going to split out each scene. So we're going to get 7 items. And then from there, we're going to create a new record. And this is where we create the actual scenes. And then we attach them scenes to the video. So you can see here, we're doing a create in the miniature scenes. And then we're just populating the columns there. So we've got the description, the image prompt, animation prompt, sound effect, and then this is where we attach the video ID. All right, so when we created the video here, the ID of this is 37, as you can see here, and in the scenes we just attach this to it, right? So they've got a bit of a relationship there, and that is the process, right? That's kind of set up the process with all the scenes, and now we're just going to use all that information to do the rest. So the next part of this process is picking the sound effects. Now I did experiment with this. If I just click go on that, and I'll go through each node. Now I did experiment with 11 Labs. 11 Labs will generate sound effects, but it was very inconsistent. Sometimes it would generate sound effects and there would just be music and not an actual sound effect, and it was just odd. So I was like, okay, this isn't really going to work. It's not. It was consistently inconsistent. So I thought it was just as easy just to sort of take all them prompts, all the sound effects prompts, and just generate them on the 11 Labs website, download them, and just build up a little library there. It didn't take too long. That way I know it's all curated and the sound effects are going to be good, right? So whatever this picks now from that library, I know it's going to be good sound effects. It's just going to work. So this is going to get the sound effects library. It's going to get all the sound effects, and you can see them all come through here. Now it's a lot of details there, right? The sound effects file comes with a thumbnail and all this kind of stuff. We're just interested in the URL at this point. Now this is actually an MP3 file. The way I generated these, I actually did a little N8N workflow to sort of go through and generate them all, and for some reason it didn't add the MP3 extension, but it's fine. It still works in the workflow, and I just couldn't be bothered to fix it because it still works. But just know these are MP3s, even though the extension at the end doesn't say MP3. So this is pulled in 20 items, 20 sound effects, it's going to just limit these down to one item. And you can see it's got an ID and then a description of that sound effect. From there, we're going to just get the video that's currently being processed. So only one video at a time should be being processed. So it should only ever return one. And we use that in this split node. And what we do there is we just take the scenes from that last get video node and then we just split them out. So we're splitting out the IDs here. From there, we get them scenes. So we take the ID value of that, of the split node here, put it in the row here, and this is going to get us that scene. Now, because this has been split out 7 times, it's going to have 7 unique scene IDs. So this is going to return 7 scenes back. Then we have the AI. It's going to go through each one of them scenes. It's given the full sound effect library. You can see that there. It's got the full sound effect library. And then it's being given the original prompt for that scene. So if we look in get scenes here, we can see this sound effect here is the original sound effect that was initially given to it. So it's given that. And then in its prompt here, it's this really simple prompt. It's just saying, pick the most appropriate sound based on the sound effect library and what the sound effect prompt should be. And it will pick something, right, that's closely matching that. From there, it'll output that ID of the track that it's picked, along with the original sound prompt and a description. We don't really need any of this stuff, but for debugging, it's interesting to see kind of how closely it matches. From there, we just update the scene, and we attach that sound ID to it. So we get the scene. We update the ID. And then in the sound effects column, that's where we attach the ID. And if we come over to the scenes here, you'll see sound effects. So this is linking back. So this is all the IDs here. And this is linking back to the sound effects library. So this ultimately allows you to build up a library and then you can just pick bits from there. So this is really showing you the core concepts of how you kind of can sort of tie with data together in that sense. So there's probably much better ways of doing this, but this works fine for me. I think it's somewhat clean. So in a nutshell, this will get the sound effects library. It will pick a random sound effect from there that it thinks is appropriate and matches it based on the original sound prompt. And then it's just going to update that scene in the database with that sound effects ID. So picking the music, this is the main background music for the overall video. And this is doing something very similar to the sound effects picker here. So we'll just run this. So this is going to initially get the video. So I'm going to get the video that's currently being processed. It's going to get the music library. And it's going to return the entire music library. In my music library, there is only 20 there. But you can obviously add more to that. It's just going to set some field information here. It's going to set the ID of the music file. That's going to be the ID that is in the baserow. It's going to set the description, and then it's going to set the audio track URL. Don't think this audio track URL is necessary, but it's there. Then we've got AI, which is a music picker, and we're just giving it the original music prompt. So when we originally created the process or picked a process and sort of created a music prompt there, that's what's being fed into it here. And then we're giving it the process. And then in the actual system prompt here, I'm actually sending it the entire library as part of the system prompt. That's fine. That's just another way of doing it. And this is just saying, pick the most appropriate music file and give me the ID, or return the ID. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty straightforward when you can see it's output the ID and the URL here. Again, this URL part isn't actually important at this point in this process, because on the next node, which would be renamed to update video, because this is going to update, do an update operation, and it's going to update the videos. It's going to use the ID from this node here when it initially got the video, and then it's just going to update the music field with the ID. So this is ID 11, and if we come into the videos here and scroll down, we can see the music here. It's been updated and it's linked this particular track in this instance. And if we come into the music library, we can see number 11. There we go. So that's all correct. And that's how we pick the music. Pretty straightforward. Okay, the images. This is where we create the images for the scenes. Now, I'll spend a little bit of time on this because this is a little bit more involved. So, we are using FreePick here. Now, you might not have heard of this. I personally think they're a bit expensive, but one of the things you can do is send it an image and use that as like a style reference, which is kind of interesting. So you get somewhat consistent styles throughout each image, and I'll show you how you do that. But you can, of course, play with Flux or other models. Now, the way we get the styles here is there is a styles library. All you do with this is you just, if you want to add an image style, you just create a new record here, upload an image, and then just keep a note of the ID here. So I'm going to delete that. So there's just 2 images in here. It's only going to use one of these. So this is an interesting little style here. This is another image here. And if I wanted to use the style and the characteristics from this, the ID of this is 1. So if I just run this, if I come over to that there, I've just manually put the ID in there. So this is from a past one, so this is number 4. So this is actually going to use the ID from this. It's going to use the image from ID number 4 here. So it's going to use this image as a style. Then it's going to download the image. This is a standard HTTP node. It's going to download this image. And then it's going to convert it to a base64 string. And the reason we do that is when we actually make the request, which I'll show you this node in a second, we send that string in as its sort of style reference. And it'll know what that image is because it's a base64 image. So the next steps it will do after it's done this string part is it'll get the video. And this is the same as before. We're just going to get a video that's processing. And it's just going to return that. That way we can get all the details moving forward. We're going to split the scenes out. And then we're going to get the scenes. This node, pretty much these three nodes repeat themselves. They're identical. It's the same with this generate videos. These are identical. Same down here. They're copy and paste nodes. So there's nothing fancy going on here. So it's going to split the scenes out. It's going to grab the scenes. It's going to split them out. In this instance, we've got 7 scenes. Then it's going to grab all of them scenes. And now we get into the looping aspect. Now this looping is a little bit interesting. This is doing it in batches of 5. You could do this one by one, but this ultimately allows us to submit 5 image requests at once. So this is fully complete here. So it's going to submit. So this is 7 scenes. So this loop is actually going to run twice. So it's going to submit a batch of 5. It's going to run through, and then once all of them are done, then it's going to submit the last 2 because there's only 7 scenes. So with FreePick, to get your credentials for FreePick, this is the URL here. You will just go over to FreePick, create an account. I'll give you five euros worth of credit. You'll just get that for free. Come over to your API settings here, copy the key. When it comes to the credentials here, select header auth, create new. And all you need to do is just for the name, you need to put it like this, x-freepick-api-key, kind of weird, and then just paste the key in there. That's it. That's all you need to do. And then this is the actual response that's being sent. So we're sending it the original image prompt that got created. So each scene, if we come back to baserow here, you'll see each scene's got an image prompt. This is what we're sending. Then we're also sending in the base64 value here. So this is the string that was created in this node here. We're sending that in. Then we're going to wait for 20 seconds. We're going to do a little check request to check if it's completed or not. And again, this is to free pick, so use your free pick credentials there. And this is complete. This is a little bit of an interesting bit of code here. So this is just checking to see if all 5 batches are complete, or however many batches you put in there. It's going to check to see if all of them are complete. If they're all complete, perfect, it's going to push that through, download all the images. So this was, because this was the last run, it's only done 2, but prior to that, it's done 5. You can see all 5 images are there, and we can see these here, so these are the images. And then we come to this odd baserow node. I don't know why baserow does this, it's very strange. When it comes to uploading files to baserow, you have to use this URL here. So it will be your baserow URL as normal, and then it will be this endpoint. Now if we come into baserow and just click the little 3 dots here and go to view API docs, you can see here, this is the endpoints. This will sort of show you how you can kind of use it. You've got curl commands, but it has an endpoint here for file uploads. So when you want to add a file, in our case, we want to add the images to the database. We need to upload it first, and then we update that table with the image name. It's a little weird, I find. There's 2 endpoints here. You've got upload file, and then you've got upload via URL. So if you was not uploading a binary file and uploading a URL to an image from wherever, right, you'd use this endpoint instead. We're using the upload file endpoint and uploading it directly. It is a little confusing. What this will do is this will upload it, and then it will return the URL to it. It'll also return a name, and this is the name we use in the next node when it comes to updating that scene. So there's 7 items that have gone through here. So this is updated 7 scenes. You can see it's updating the scenes. It's updating the ID here, or it's updating this. This is the ID from the loop node. This does sound a little confusing. It's really not that bad. When it comes to the image, all we're doing here is we're just passing it in the name from the previous upload node. And then we've got FreePick will actually give us a URL for the image as well. So I'm just adding that in there. We use that later. You don't technically need to upload the image. You could just upload the URL, just to add the URL as a field. I just like to see them. If I come back here, I just like to be able to browse the database and see the images and be able to click them and just look at it without having to click a link and sort of go to it that way. So that's the images. It does sound a little confusing. It's not that bad. Again, these are all designed to be modular, so you can sort of run this. You can change this from FreePick. Like I said, I think FreePick's a little expensive. You can use Flux. You can install Flux locally and use it that way. I can show you how to do that. I will end up doing a video on that in the future. I'm still playing around with that with ComfyUI, and integrating that in with N8N is actually really easy. Using ComfyUI, not so much. But it can be done for free. And the reason why this is a little bit more complicated is the loop itself. In my past workflows, you've just seen me do loops and send them as batches of 1. And it will just go through and just do them one by one. You can absolutely do that with this. It's just going to take a lot longer. Because we're sending it a batch of 5, it will take the same amount of time to process as it would a batch of 1. So why not send it 5? There is limits. I don't think you can send any more than batches of 10. But that's really up to you. Again, have a play with that. This is where this complete node here is checking to make sure that the batches are all complete. On to the video generation. Now, this is using File AI. This is a pretty simple service to use. We've used this before in past videos. We're using Cling. So if I just come over here, we've got Cling here. Now, I have tested a bunch of video generators out. Now, a lot of them are just expensive, and I don't really entertain them at all because they're so expensive, and I just don't think they're very practical. Kling here is not so bad. This is like 4 cents. You might as well round this up to 5 cents per second. We're doing 5-second videos, so it's not too bad. Ultimately, each one of these flows, when you run them from start to end, it's probably going to cost around $1.50 or £1.50, so sort of £1.80. That is kind of expensive, I think. Could we replace this? I have been playing with a open source video WAN 2.1. It is very cool, and it will produce these videos. You can run this locally, but it takes an extremely long time. I mean, like, it will take like 20-30 minutes per scene, and if you've got 7 scenes to do, it's a very long time, and the videos might not turn out as you want them, so you're gonna have to run it again. But I don't know, if you wanna learn more about WAN, or you want to see how you can incorporate that in, if there's enough interest, I'll absolutely do a video on that. So I'm gonna fire this off now, and this is gonna go and take all the images and produce videos out of them. So send that off. So these 3 nodes again are doing the same thing. We're going to get the video just being processed, or that's currently in processing. We're going to split them out. We always split out the scenes, and then we get all the scenes. So we just get all the scenes that match this ID. And then there's an extra filter here as well, where the video clip is empty. Don't actually need that, because it's only going to pull scenes from the video. This video will come with scenes attached. It won't ever have any more scenes than 7 in our case, right? So this filter here is not actually needed. We can get rid of that. The looping operation is exactly the same as what we was doing for the images. We're sending it batches of 5. We're sending it to the file endpoint here. And to get these credentials, if I just come and edit them here, you'll put authorization there, and then you'll paste your key in there. So you'll come over to File AI, API keys. There we go. Very straightforward. Add a key, give it a name, create it, and paste it in there. I just want to check one thing here. If we come over to the Kling API here, select HTTP. Okay, so where it says key here, when you add your credentials, when you create credentials, you'll put authorization in there, and then in here you will put key space, and then you'll put your API key after that. Otherwise you'll get an authorization error. And then you can just keep reusing these, right? It's header auth. I've already named mine File AI. You can name it whatever you want. And then this is the actual JSON parameters that's going in. So it's just, this is the animation prompt from the video. We are giving it the external image that it's going to use. So this is image to video. And this is being pulled from the scene. And then we've just got the basic stuff here. We've got duration 5 seconds. We've got an aspect ratio 9:16. That's just sort of your typical TikTok ratio. Some generic distortion stuff here, CFG scale. And this is going to do batches of 5. So this will take a little while. This will probably take like 4 or 5 minutes. Complete node is doing the same thing, right? It's making sure all 5 batches come back and they're not in progress, right? They're saying something else, so they're completed basically. Once they're all complete, then 5 items will be sent to this get download. This is going to go ahead and download. Oh, sorry, this is going to get the response, right, which is going to return us the download URL. And from there, we take that URL and actually download all the videos. And if we click view, we can see this little goober here is doing something to that cake. So this is some kind of cake process. Okay, very cool, looks quite cute. So that's downloaded 5 videos. Then baserow, this is doing exactly what this node is doing up here. It's uploading all these videos to baserow, and then it's going to give us a name back. And you can see how that's doing that there. When it comes to the baserow authentication, the way you get that is if you just come over to your baserow, come over to My Settings and Database Tokens, and it'll be there. You can create a token here, select the databases that you want to allow this token to use, and then you can come over and copy that there. This always goes in as a header auth, so it's just authorization, and then paste in your token there. Let me double check to make sure, because when it comes to these header auths, sometimes you've got to put your name there, or the name, in this case it's authorization, but then sometimes you'll need to put key or bearer and then space and then your token. Let's double check to make sure. Yeah, so in this case it's token, right? So you can see here this -H, this is the authorization. So you can see there for the name we've got authorization, and then for the actual token part here, or for the actual API key itself, you will put in token space and then the key you copied from here. You'll put this after token. You'll paste that in there. That's how you can connect to the baserow API for uploading files. Again, it's a little weird that we got to do it like this, and it's not just part of the native nodes. That would be nice, but it is what it is. So this is still running while I've been blabbering on there. This is not going to take much longer. And that is done. That's the videos created. If we come over to the scenes here and scroll down, you can see we now have the videos there. So on to the sound effects. This is where we use the NCA toolkit. This is a fantastic little toolkit. If you've not used this before, this will save you a bunch of money on services like JSON to video. Now, this can do a lot more than what the NCA toolkit does. So you're kind of using templates and stuff. But for this sort of stuff, the NCA toolkit is perfect, and we don't need to pay these kind of ridiculous prices. And you're not limited with credit systems and all that kind of stuff. So I do have a full video on the NCA toolkit, how to install it, some use cases. Very, very cool. I would also check out Steven, the chap that actually programmed this and made it open source for everyone. Very, very cool guy. He's done a lot of automated stuff as well. I'll go and check his channel out. So if we just run this, what this is going to do, it's going to do the same thing here. It's going to grab the video that's being processed. It's going to split out the scenes from that video. And then it's going to, we're going to just do a get many here, and we're just going to get the IDs, the scenes that match the IDs here. We split these out, so we're only going to get 7 scenes back, but we're going to get the scenes and all their details, which is what we want. From there, we go into a loop. Now we've sent this 7 scenes, so we're going to do batch sizes of 1. So this is going to do 7 loops in total, and each one of them loops is going to contain one of these scenes. From there, we get the sound effects file, so we just give it the ID. We did attach the sound effects ID earlier in the process, so that's where we got the scenes here. We can just grab that ID, get the sound effects, and then this is where we make the call to the NCA toolkit. I would definitely check out the video that I've made on installing this thing, because you might be a bit clueless at this point. This is using the compose endpoint. I'm not going to cover all of this in this video because we'll be here all day. So of course, get your credentials, all that kind of stuff set up. This is the payload that we're sending in here. So this is taking the clip that we just created. it's taking the sound effect file, and we're going to call this little bit the magic, and it's going to combine them two together. The clip will remain 5 seconds. The sound effects that I've generated are 8 seconds long, but it will sort of cut that off, right? It will just put that sound effect in, and as soon as it gets to the sort of 5 seconds, it will just cut it off. So it's not like the video is going to be 8 seconds and then you're just going to be stuck with blackness for sort of 3 seconds. Once the NCA is done and it's added that, it's going to give us the URL back. Then it's going to upload that to baserow. Now, again, you don't need to use this upload. You could just add that URL to the record, right? So you could sort of skip that and then just update the scene with that URL if you wanted to. But again, in baserow, I like to sort of see the files in here and be able to click them. So we just open one here. You can hear here we've got this kind of dripping sound effect. So each clip's going to have some sound effect to it. You can see there's the sound effect IDs. Once that's uploaded, we just update the scene, and we are just uploading it with the name here. Once we upload it to baserow, it comes back with all the details and it comes back with the name. If we update that, this video plus sound effects is a attachment field, and we just need to give it the name, and baserow will know, oh, this is a file that is being uploaded. It just knows. And that's it for the sound effects. So each clip's going to have a sound effect. Moving on to section 7 here. This is where we're going to take all them clips now and put them into one. So it's going to take all 7 clips, and it's going to do it in order as well. So it's just going to combine it into one. That's really it. Again, these 3 nodes are doing exactly what this 3 node did. It's what these 3 nodes did. They are just copy and paste nodes, but we will open them. So it's just grabbing the videos from processing. It's going to grab the scenes from that video, and it's going to split them out so we can get the IDs of the scenes. And then we're going to use a baserow get node or get many node, and we've got a filter here. Only give me the scenes that match the ID from the split out node. That way we're only going to get 7 scenes back. From there, we are just putting all the URLs into one sort of list here, and then we're using a little bit of code, nothing crazy, but this is sort of formatting it in a nice way where when we go over to the NCA part, so this is HTTP node, it's using a concat endpoint, and this is like super easy, but this is just taking the field that the code node exported out, and it's just putting it in there. This is how the NCA wants it in this particular format. That's what that code node is doing. It's outputting all them URLs, so this doesn't throw us an error. And then we're given an ID. I don't think this ID is too important in this case. And then from there, we update the video. So we take we take the ID from the original node here, and we're just putting it in there to say, yep, this is the video you should be actually updating. And then we just give it the raw URL. So in this instance, I could upload the file. We could use the baserow upload HTTP node that we've been using. But in this instance, I just sent it the URL, which is absolutely fine. And if we come into the videos here, scroll down, if we scroll across, you'll see raw video URL here. So this could be named a little better. But this is the entire video with the sound effects. So, moving on to almost the last step, this is going to add the background music. So if we just run this, it's going to get the video that's currently being processed, or currently in processing. It's going to get the music ID from there. So let's have a look here. So we can see there music ID. It's going to get that, and then it's going to return the music details. So that's going to be the URL to the MP3. From there, and the NCA toolkit, we are using the compose endpoint here. And this is pretty much doing what the SoundFX section does, right? We give it the raw video URL here, and then we give it the music file, and then we give it the magic. And again, I go through an installation guide on this. There is a custom GPT. This is probably the most complicated part of this workflow. So once that's added, it's going to give us a URL. And this is going to be the full video now with the music. So this is the full shebang. It's done. Now we could just upload this URL to baserow. That's absolutely fine. In my case, I've got a HTTP node here to download it. Then uploading that video using the upload HTTP upload to baserow here. So this upload node it's the same here. These nodes are identical. Same here. These are identical nodes, right? So we just come back. So now we've got the row ID. We're going to do an update here. We're just going to add the final video, and this is going to be the name from the upload here. And then we're going to change the status to done. And if we come in, we can see here this is now done. And our final video interesting, very cool. Okay, so that's the video. From there, we can just upload that to YouTube. And from there, we can go ahead and upload this to YouTube. And get them beautiful, beautiful views, baby. So there's nothing fancy going on here. All I've done is I've just told it to get all the videos. But we're just going to limit it to one. And we're going to return that in descending order. So that's just basically going to give us the last video that was created. And it's done slightly different to this, right? Because we've marked it as done. Maybe you don't want this to go to YouTube. Maybe this is part of a different flow, right? But you could come back to the background music here and get rid of the status part. And don't mark it as done. And then you could just do a filter here. So instead of doing it by the video ID, you could add a status, check the status. Basically do what this is doing here, right? You could literally copy and paste this node to here. But hey ho, this is just showing you another way of doing it. If I just run this now, this is going to get the last video. It's going to create. All I'm doing is passing it in the process. And then in the prompt here, this is just going to creative assistant. You just create as a good little title, a short title, ideally kind of 60 characters. Give us some hashtags. From there, we just download the video from baserow. And then we upload to YouTube. Now, this has created a title, and this is one of the issues I've sort of been having. This is kind of going beyond the title cap. So I think that the prompt here will need tweaking a little bit. But if I just run that again. So yeah, you can only have so many characters in your YouTube title. This has gone just a little bit beyond that. So I've just ran it again and it's looking like it's going through fine. I have a video that explains how to get your YouTube credentials and how to get it all set up. Again, I'm not really going to cover that in this video because it takes a little bit of just getting all that set up. But yeah, refer to that video. It's pretty straightforward. And there you go, that's uploaded fine there. So I will leave this little gem here for you to tweak and play with and experiment. Now the actual YouTube node here, I'm just giving it the title. So if I come to the LLM here, create title. So we've got the title and then we've got the hashtags. Tiny bakers create flower magic on cupcakes with a little emoji. Then I'm adding the hashtags at the end. Country, region, entertainment. It's uploading a binary because that was the previous node that output the binary because we downloaded the video. Just putting the same thing in the description. I just marked it as private. And if I come over to my YouTube channel here, and here you can see it is uploaded, Tiny Bakers. This is private, but in the actual workflow, if you didn't set this to private and set it to public, that would be published for you. And that will play, I think. Yeah, there you go. Very cool. That is the entire process, folks. It is a bit of a lengthy video, this one. The final thoughts are, this is, again, designed for you to kind of learn from. So you get some interesting videos at the end of it, but this sort of shows you how you can tie this in with a database. So this sort of concept applies with a lot of automations, and it's them sort of key concepts that I want you to take away from this video, not so much the video it produces. And yeah, I think that's it. I think I have covered everything. If you, again, this can technically be done for completely free. If you really want that, I can make a video on that. That's going to be a little bit more technical, but it will save you costs, and it will take a very long time because it's doing AI video on your computer. I have tried that with RunPod instances and many other cloud services, and it sort of equates to be the same cost as if you was to use Kling 1.6 or something like that. And the only way around that is to run it locally. I tried doing it locally. My graphics card looked like it was going to melt, and I got a little scared, and I sort of stopped doing my tests locally. But yeah, if I've missed anything, let me know. Let me know in the comments. I will try my best to help. And yeah, the link to all these resources will be in the description.